Guys, what's up, guys? Welcome to Gma It Ain't Over. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome, thank you, and please subscribe to my channel. Like and subscribe and share my video, right? Go ahead and hit that like button. If you've been here before, thanks again. Thank you. I really appreciate the loyalty, right? Yeah, so how's everybody doing out there? I've been having a blast lately. I've just been all over the place, you know? But, you guys know, I always come with some kind of vibe. And so, today, last night, I didn't sleep that well and still woke up kind of early, but I kind of said to myself, go ahead and get your chores out of the way. And so that's what I did. Went to the store, grabbed a little groceries. Of course, I straightened up a little bit because that's what I do, right? I'm the person that just about can't leave my house without straightening up, right? So yeah, but then that's my Saturday routine. I do what I gotta do. But I'm just saying, couldn't sleep that well last night. But I said, go ahead, get on up and get things out of the way. And so now I'm back home and ready to talk to you guys. But I gotta say, it's such great weather here in Atlanta. But I was kind of moving around out there. That sun got a little hot. Yeah, fall has finally fallen up in here, right? If you're in the state of Georgia, we still got greenery, but yeah, the weather's starting to cool off just a little bit. You can even open your windows and get a little breeze nowadays, right? During this time of the year. So yeah, I think that's really cool. Fall's one of my really most favorite seasons of the year. I do love summer. I do love spring. Not a fan of winter. I'm a summer baby. You guys know. I don't know. My birthday was in July. I was born in July, so yeah. I think that's why, like, summer probably is my favorite. Although the sun, yeah. I don't think there are very many UV rays in that sun anymore because it's been tearing me up to be like, you know, if I'm out there with like a tank, you know, like I have today, like chilling, that sun seems to kind of like really sting you, right? But at any rate, yeah, it's cooling down. Everything is chill. Finally fall. I think, what was it? I think it's the 21st is the first day of fall, which was Thursday. So here we are, Friday, Saturday. We're like 2 days or 3 days into fall. So guys, like I said, you want to catch my mood, run and grab you something. It doesn't necessarily, you see this big giant bowl of fruit right here, right? I'm probably not going to eat it all, but I'm a single girl, so I can eat out the bowl. Right, and check this out. I also made myself a nice cool glass of lemon water. Yeah, can't beat it. You guys know I'm always talking about natural stuff. You know, I like my fruits and veggies, right? Like my fruits and veggies. I did a previous video called To Market We Go, and I shared like, one of my trips to the market. But at any rate, let's get right down to it. Today, I'm coming to you. My topic is 3 things women really want from men that don't involve money. So, again, I'm talking to my guys today. And ladies, I'd like for you to share in the comments, like, what you think about the subject, you know, because my 3 things may not be your 3 things, right? And while I am about to really, like, sometimes, you know, it's like, these guys, yeah, I'm about to, you know, put the boot, give you all the boot, but I don't know. I just keep hanging on because I do love me some him. Remember that song, Tony Braxton? I love me some him. Yeah. But yeah, there are a lot of Mr. Wrongs out there, right? So, it just always seems to be that constant search for Mr. Right. Mr. Right, yeah, I don't know where you are, but you need to hurry up. You need to hurry up and pay a visit over here because a girl, I don't know. Y'all know. I mean, I'm going to be cool one way or the other. I'm always going to be cool. I'm a happy person. I was born happy or with the ability to just, I don't know, I'm happy, right? I'm cool. I'm good. But it would be nice. All right. So, yeah. And so you might be asking yourself, Elle, what's going on with you? Well, that's exactly what's going on. Sometimes I get a little antsy like everybody else, I'm a human. I'm a human being. And so, yeah, I think that God, made man for woman and woman for man. So we just got to get some things straight because, it seems that if I were to ask this question to a woman or pose this question to a woman, the first thing that would probably come out of her mouth would be something like, well, I want him to make a certain amount of money, right? So, there's several things that women want out of a man. But we're going to keep this to this broad subject. We're going to narrow it down. We're going to narrow our search. And we're just going to talk about 3 things that I feel, because, of course, it's my show and it's just me and it's me talking to you, right? Yeah. And so, guys, we're going to talk about 3 things or 3 of the most important things that I personally feel that women want from their men. And we're going to keep it to 3 things, although, because the list can get so broad. I mean, when you ask women of today, what do you want from a man? Immediately, most women, 2023 women will probably tell you how much money they want their ideal man to make. But you have to realize that this is a flex society that we live in. And people are not afraid to, people are being actually even conditioned to speak their mind. Women have no problem admitting that they don't have a problem with a man calling them a gold digger, right? Just like you men of yesterday used to look for the little lady to take care of the household, make sure the children were raised and grew up in the way that you would have them to go. But we're living in totally different times. Women don't have a problem with you calling them a whore, as a matter of fact. And that's because, too, they don't, right? They don't mind being called the B word, you know what I mean? Like they don't have, as soon as the song comes on, one time for the birthday, bitch, right? We're out there, and we got songs, I'm a bad bitch, I'm a bad. So, I'm just trying to say, we're living in different times. The language is totally different. And this is a society where men will actually date and marry a stripper. And I'm talking for real. I've seen it happen like a couple of times, versus my era. I mean, you were either a housewife. There was always that saying, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. That's no longer. And again, guys, the man of yesterday, like I said, used to look for a housewife, right? Today's man seems to want a hustler, right? They don't mind a woman being ambitious, you know. Matter of fact, you know, some of them require it, right? Yeah, they want a hustler. But for some reason, it doesn't really matter what type of man or what type of woman a man seems to end up with. They creep. Now, to be fair, I'm gonna say not all men, but seriously, men, what's up with all the creeping? What's up with all the creeping, right? You say you want a good girl, you get a good girl, and then you creep. And ladies, yes, women, we've slept with so many creepers who are depositing the creeper DNA into our bodies. We creep too. Yeah. I say we. I don't typically. I'm going to take myself out of that picture because when I have a good man, I usually don't creep. But I do know quite a few women do creep, right? Women do creep. And so, wow, you're sleeping with all these men, they're depositing that creeper DNA in you. And I personally believe in soul ties, and I also believe in karma. And karma, I believe, is just the ability to adapt, right? You might be saying, hey, I hear somebody saying, Elle, make that make sense. And you know, yeah, that's what I'm about to do. So hold tight for one moment here. Okay, so yeah, let me make it make sense to you. Okay. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but pretty much everywhere we travel, we leave a little bit of DNA, right? And I believe, like I said, in soul ties. And so when a woman allows a man to enter her body, yeah, spiritual ties are formed, created from that, right? Yeah. And so, because you're sharing secretions, right? And so basically kissing, you know, all this closeness, you know, where, you know, there's an exchange, there's an exchange of energy, there's an exchange of secretions. I believe that these people become a part of one another. I think you kind of get my message, right? I don't want to get too deep into that because I'm going to do a little research for you, right? And I can get back with you, you know, with a little bit more credibility, because I don't know if you guys have ever heard of, I don't know if you've ever heard of soul ties or spiritual ties, right? But they do exist. And I firmly believe in them. And when it comes down to karma, again, my definition is just the ability to adapt to a situation. You've heard the saying that somebody once said, doing the same thing. What did they say? How does it go? It says, do the same thing, doing the same thing and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. And so when we keep putting our heart on the table and we keep getting our hearts broken, then we begin to adapt, right? And we just try something different. And typically we take our hearts off the table. A lot of times that's what happens. We just take our heart completely out of the picture because it's a protective mechanism. We don't want to get hurt over and over and over again. And it makes sense because every mammal and in animals of different forms have that natural ability to just adapt to the situation. if a turtle keeps running into an electric fence and getting shocked, he's gonna get to the point where he's probably, you've seen those little wire fences that they put around for the dogs. Yeah, pretty much kind of works like that. Well, yeah, eventually the dog just loses the desire to go outside the fence or to cross those borderlines. And so that's what happens. Women tend to eventually take their hearts out of the situation. And guess what? When women get pregnant and they have by these creepers, a lot of times, right, they end up alone. And they have daughters, they breed daughters, and they pass this knowledge and these emotions on down, you know. So it just becomes, to me, it just kind of feels like the world has become, you know, man against woman, man versus woman, instead of woman for man or man for woman. It's just like a lot of competition. Like I said, you know, if you guys keep breaking our hearts, or for some reason, you know, just the basic little instinctive things that don't or won't cost you a lot of money. Now, we do know that every relationship is going to cost you money. You're going to spend money. Money is our currency. And so basically, you know, that is just what it takes to maintain life. But when it comes down to the expensive dates, you know, like a lot of men say, hey, you know what I mean? Like, you know, a lot of men like kind of throw in the towel as far as like trying to date, and take women out, and it's kind of like, let's just, you know, kind of get down to business. Right? Yeah, a lot of men, they don't want to be polite. You know, I've gone into like nightclubs, and you know, now in my day, and I don't know how fair or unfair it was, but it was just considered to be a gentleman to offer a woman a drink. And if she had friends, you know, 9 out of 10, or, you know, maybe not, like a table full of free, I mean, you had your ballers out there too, that if there were, because, you know, girls tend to kind of hang in packs, and sometimes, you know, you're gonna at least, like, who wants to be, for safety reasons, who wants to be out, you know, late at night, you know, alone, right? So we always usually, there's going to be like at least 2 of us, right? And a guy would ask you if you wanted a drink. Sometimes they may send a drink, you know, and that's a conversation starter. But men are just like getting to the point. It is an expensive world. It's a flex world. It costs enough. You know, you probably like, you know, it's crazy out here because, I don't necessarily particularly club, but I attend a lot of events that are taking place nowadays inside clubs, right? Birthday parties, yeah, for the most part. Yeah, certain societies that I'm a part of might have an event on the inside of a club or whatever. But you know, I've gone places, I mean, before you get in the tour, there's valet parking. And valet parking for me, in my day, used to be, you know, it's a volunteer. The tip, when it comes down to the actual tipping of the valet park. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I had to run and take care of something real quick. However, we were talking about valet parking. And I just meant like valet parking alone can actually cost the person. Nowadays, valet parking is not so much complimentary as it is people actually charge to park your car. And it can run, I paid as much as like $40 or, yeah, been with friends, $30 and $40 is pretty common around these parts, valet parking. And then if you're talking a cover charges can be 20 and over. You could easily be at over $100 before you go on a tour. And let's just face it, most men are not, you know, unless you are a 6-figure man, you know, that's a problem. You know, like that's a good portion of a lot of men's salaries. So I definitely get and understand that spending money is definitely something to be concerned about. You know, we're going through a recession, and so I get it. I totally get it when it comes down to money being a concern. And so, guys, let's just get back to topic, because I know I can stray a little bit. But the reason for my topic today, again, is that men and women seem to be at war with one another. This is the 2023, people of 2023. It is evident in the number of marriages and separation, the turmoil, and ultimately divorce that take place in America. So I brought you a little research today, because it seems that in researching, I was able to, locate somebody that feels pretty much the same as I do. Forbes.com. I went to Forbes.com, and Forbes.com says that the most common reason for divorce is lack of commitment. In fact, 75% of couples cited lack of commitment as the cause of their divorce, making commitment, again, my number one characteristic that women want in men, or that a woman will want in her ideal man, right? Now, let's not confuse commitment with infidelity or creeping, right? Because I do believe that people who are committed to a marriage are more clearly stated, a successful, happy marriage will think twice before they cheat. So let's define commitment. Now, again, more research. I went to my online dictionary and pulled up this definition. And it states that commitment is a state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or activity, etc. Right? It also, and then the number 2 definition is usually commitments are an engagement or obligation that restricts freedom from an action. And so, guys, and then they gave 2 examples of how to use commitment in a sentence, and I found it really kind of interesting, because this was totally 2 different sources of information, but they both kind of went with my topic. And so basically, in a sentence, it says young people delay major commitments, including marriage and children. And in the second sentence they used was the company's commitment to quality, or commitment is the company's, I don't know, they just put the company's commitment to quality, right? And so again, I say not just a commitment, but commitment to a quality relationship. So now basically, so I say to you, well, while there are times when you feel that your money is what impresses women, most women would be happy if you could just plain commit, right? If you could just plain commit, it costs you nothing, right? And again, I hear you saying, oh yeah, all that. Money is currency. Again, money is currency. Money, it takes money to do everything in life. So of course, if you're going to marry a woman, yeah, you're going to be spending, and you're going to be taking on, a little bit more responsibility. But commitment is free because it comes from the heart, right? And yes, again, it takes money to maintain a relationship. But when we think of commitment, it is a quality that comes before. It's a quality. It comes before you even meet anybody that you're trying to date, right? A commitment, I feel, should be made to oneself. For instance, it's like if you're going to purchase a new car or any other device or anything that you want, you will restrict yourself from straying or deviating or anything that will cause delay or prevent you from being able to purchase this car, right? And so you've made a commitment. You made a commitment to yourself. You didn't commit to cars, right? I mean, and in a sense, maybe, yeah, you are committing to having a good car, but you have made the commitment. This is something that you want. And this is not, in fact, I feel like that when it comes down to marriage or getting into a relationship, that a person should commit to themselves before they commit to the person that they say they want to marry or the person that they want to be in a committed relationship. Because a commitment it's like self-esteem, it's something that you do. We need to stop making commitments to other people and commit to what we're trying to achieve in life. You get what I'm saying? People need to commit to marriage before they commit to the person that they're trying to marry. And ladies, if a man tells you something like, babe, yeah, like one day I want to get married, but not right now, trust and believe. Just believe him and quit trying to force these ultimatums. Quit trying to force an ultimatum on a man who says he doesn't want to commit, because just like a company's commitment to quality of products or services or whatever, marriage is a union and it's set up like a company, right? And in the same way, it's like a company that has partners, right? And so in the same way that you would not go out and try to get into a business with a business partner who doesn't share the same commitment to quality as you do. You don't want to just marry, or you don't want to just commit to a marriage marrying a man or a marriage that, with a person who is not willing to be giving of himself or restricting himself. You don't want this man to marry you, right? I mean, you're better than that. A person who is not fully committed in a relationship is most likely to cheat, because they haven't committed to themselves. You can very rarely just live your life. I don't believe in living life for other people. You have to live life for yourself, right? And so that brings me to number 2. The number 2 thing that I think that a woman wants from her man. Now back to research. Forbes.com says that 60% of couples cited infidelity as a reason for divorce. All right? So the most important quality to most humans and some animals, guys, is loyalty, right? Unfaithfulness is like one of the most degrading and embarrassing things that can happen in a relationship of any kind. Just kind of think about it, like, you and your boy, in a paternal relationship. Just think about if your best friend went out and did something behind your back that hurt you. This kind of hurt, it's hard to recover. It's really kind of hard to recover from. And so this kind of hurt, infidelity, these marriages with what the term is called irretrievably broken, right? Because while forgiveness is out there, and a lot of times people still try to make a go at it, a lot of times the relationship will never be the same, you know. It ends up, you know, and especially if it's a woman, you know, I've often in the movies that I've watched, there's one called Unfaithful, one of my favorites, and you know, the man is just like, you know, I just can't stand to look at you, you know. And then yeah, you know, and he's trying to get over it because he really loves his wife, you know. In that particular movie, he really loves his wife, but yeah, it's really hard to recover from disloyalty or infidelity. Just kind of thinking about, you know, these are the same lips, and these are the same organs that you've been out sharing with somebody else, and basically, you know, and that's if you're in a commitment. Like I said, infidelity, it can be so. It can be so draining. It can be so draining on a relationship when you're trying to forgive and forget. Now, I'm not saying it's not possible. It is totally possible for people to forgive. It's hard to forget. The trust, people develop trust issues, and especially in the beginning, people are constantly, you know, like whatever partner did the cheating is being watched, you know, trust issues, and then there's like name calling, and so, you know, cheating kind of drains all the quality out of the relationship. Yeah, which basically, like I said, you know, people start name calling, and basically this kind of abuse leads me to the third thing that most people or most women want in a relationship, which is kindness, right? People don't want to be abused, you know, with the name calling, you know, or the way you feel has changed so drastically about the person that you're with. You start to see them in a different light, and yeah, it's really kind of mental abuse. And so basically, again, I feel that kindness is real high on my list. You know, kindness is so high, I kind of want to put it like at the top. But yeah, Forbes.com, the statistics there when it came down to abuse. And typically, I mean, abuse, of course, I'm not necessarily going to say that they were just talking physical abuse, but they were just talking abuse, because abuse, of course, is always mental and physical. And I don't care how mad or what, you know, how you feel you're justified, you know, because a person made that sort of indiscretion, you know what I mean? Because a person, yeah, went out and cheated. It's abuse. It becomes abuse. You don't do a person any favor, in other words, a lot of time, if you're not going to be able to overcome the infidelity, right? If you're never going to be able to trust that person again. And so basically, yeah. But, you know, again, so it turns into abuse. But that is like, again, the number one thing. Is not the number one thing. I listed as number 3, but 24% of people ended their relationships because, or cited that as the cause of them ending or getting out, separating or whatever from their relationships, yeah, was abuse. And so for me, kindness, right? Yeah, it just might be number one, because if a person is kind, he or she is less likely to hurt you physically or mentally. You know, infidelity can push a kind person into, you know, abuse. But yeah, but kindness, guys, what you have to kind of realize is kindness is not a weakness. And most women don't even really want their men to be weak. If if a man is kind, he will protect your feelings, right? Women, he will protect your feelings, right? Kindness is just like so important to me. I've just been saying, I want to meet a man that's kind, yeah, he will protect your feelings. Some men, they just naturally, they talk rough all the time. And profanity is like their primary language, And some men have no problem beating. Yes, some men actually get very violent, very physical, with their women. And I kind of feel like that is the worst. Yeah, that is the lowest that you can go. I mean, any person, we talk about bullying a lot in our society today. And anyone who has more strength, physical strength, mental strength, or whatever, for them to actually abuse someone who, has less strength or has, less physical, mental, whatever. Yeah, strength. Yeah, I feel like, that's cruelty. That is just cowardness at its worst. I think many of you know, if you've watched my previous videos, that I come from an abusive household, and so yeah, I just seeing a woman get punched in her face, or like, it's just, for me, I think that there was a time, and I think that a lot of times women, tend to, there's just this famous thing that women always want a bad boy, and I think I used to think that I wanted a bad boy, I don't know, where that comes from. Women kind of feel like they, want a man with a little street edge, and there's always a time, there may come a time in everybody's life where you might need to get a little street, you know what I'm saying? You might just need to pull, that little street out. But, women kind of think that they want that guy with the little bit of street edge, the bad boy, right? But sometimes the bad boys' ways and habits kind of take on a life of its own, and it turns into just straight abuse. There's a long time ago, I remember hearing this saying about, good guys finish last, but a kind-hearted, soft-spoken man, you can't beat the charm. You want a man that knows how to de-escalate a situation, even if it's a street situation, even if, he may have to whip out, he may have to whip out a little whoop ass, from time to time, but, you get what I mean. You don't want a man physically abusing you and, mentally abusing you. There is just nothing like a kind-hearted man. Because it shows strength. A kind-hearted man can win me over any day in this juncture in my life, because I'm all about my soft life, we've kind of covered three things, or the three things that I feel are like kind of pretty much the most or very high on my list of qualities or things that I feel that most women want from a man. Money is necessary. Women of today have kind of acclimated or adapted to the fact that women don't want to necessarily, sit home like we used to and just be, the little woman of the house or whatnot. That can get to be a little bit boring. Personally, I've never been that, type of woman. I've always worked and maintained life and been able to take care of myself. A lot of men who do have money can be very cruel, So, money is not as high up there on the list sometimes as men think that it is. And some women even think that money is just, what they want. They want a money man. But you want a man who has the ability to commit. You want a man to be loyal in the relationship. The fact that he has committed. Again, I say commitment is basically what I consider commitment to be, like I said, self-esteem. It's yours, it's yours. And when you have actually made the decision to commit to anything, if you commit to a job, if you commit to going to school, if you make a commitment to do something, it is for self-improvement in life. And if you believe that being in a relationship with one person, building and maintaining goals or achieving goals in life, then you have a purpose for wanting to get married. You view marriage as the type of institution that it really should be looked at, it's a commitment. And so, you are just more apt to be successful in a relationship if you are a committed person. And I think that a lot of times that women and men basically sometimes need to sit down and have that self-talk and self-evaluation and just kind of look at how you are as far as a commitment is concerned. What have you committed to things in your life that that you just kind of drop the ball on when it comes down to fidelity? People kind of know themselves, Again, women don't trust or don't try to force it if it doesn't fit. There's that saying, if it don't fit, don't force it. If somebody's not ready for a commitment, then don't force it, because people, again, know who they are. Everybody knows themselves, right? And as far as kindness, if you're not kind to the rest of the world, I really kind of get this mean spirit from the world these days, like from watching social media and hearing about the different things that go on in the news, the daily news, the different types of murders. My son and I were having a conversation today, and we were talking about the different spirits, because if someone came up being abused, then they have the spirit of abuse in their hearts, so kindness. Kindness is extremely important, and we need a lot more of it today. Kindness is not a weakness. Everybody needs to be able to stand up for themselves when they need to stand up to themselves, but bullying is just not acceptable in our society today. It's not acceptable, especially in a relationship. And like I say, guys, like, hey, give me a kind man any day. I'll take a kind man over the bad boy, you know. I think that a lot of times women may say that because they don't want to be accountable for it, or it's kind of like, you know, sometimes it's I think it's all about living up to a particular standard. And I don't know, bad boys a lot of times have a lot of swag. Yeah, there are a lot of reasons why people may think that they want a person who is not really kind, the bad boy syndrome, you know. But yeah, maybe we might want to rethink that, right? Of course, you know, I'm like everybody else. I don't want anybody that's too weak, but there's like a delicate balance, you know, a delicate balance of things. And so basically, men, I'm just, you know, I'm giving you the ups. There's nobody who knows a woman or knows what a woman wants like a woman, right? And so this is for the man. This is for the man. A woman just wants some of the basic things that comes in life, you know. We don't want to be out here, you know, we don't want to be out here like you're in a relationship and yeah, so yeah, guys, women don't want to be out here being embarrassed, you know, talking about my man, you know, like that's my man, you know, and then some other chick comes along and, you know, like, hey, that's my man, you know. There's that song, my man is her man and her man is my man too, you know. I just want him for the weekend. That type of behavior, again, unacceptable. Yeah, so you know, I was listening the other day to a broadcast, and this guy used a correlation. He says, like, you know, if you see a rose and you like a rose, you pick the rose, right? And then basically you do whatever with the rose and then it dies. But if you love a rose, you water it every day and it continues life. So basically, when you pick a mate, commit, you know. When you say you want to be with us, yeah, so when you say you want to be with us, just be with us, you know. Married women often find married men attractive because they've already, you know, they're displaying the ability to be committed because they are committed, you know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times on the outside looking in, a woman will think that the same man who is already in a commitment is kind, you know, kind-hearted and faithful to his wife, and they want that same thing, right? But basically, yeah, they see you and they see what they think, you know, is that you're being faithful in the relationship, and this is what they want. You know, we're out here in this world, you know, struggling to find a man, you know, that is committed and faithful in a relationship. And a lot of times they see one. But as I say, again, if you are a person who has committed prior to actually getting into a relationship, include that in your desire to commit. In other words, you know, just kind of check yourself and know that somewhere down the line, somebody's going to tempt what you have. You know, somebody's going to be tempting to you, and somebody's going to want to mess up what you have, you know. And all the time, like I said, it's not intentional, but a lot of times we have to prepare ourselves before a thing actually happens, because the biggest excuse for infidelity is that baby, it just happened. Like, it's like, it's not something I didn't set out to hurt you, or, be it the man or the woman. People don't always set out to hurt an individual, and every man or woman that has committed adultery or been unfaithful in a relationship is not a bad person. It's not because they're not a necessarily a kind person, but we're all human. And so, I kind of liken that to me. I realized that death is like a part of life, and so I kind of had told myself, like sometimes I see people, I'm always talking about don't let the sun go down on you, and I see a lot of people when a death occurs, they don't recover. They don't recover from, or it takes them a really long time. A lot of times, you find, I started discovering a lot this year because I started discovering that a lot of men are out there hurting, and a lot of women are out there hurting because they refuse to ever even get back or even try again in a relationship because of infidelity, because they weren't prepared. They weren't prepared for just the fact that it can happen, right? It can happen. It can happen to you. It can happen to me. It has happened to me. More than once in life. More times actually than I really want to admit that I've had men to cheat on me. And it's like, again, I say, like one of the most embarrassing things, degrading, it can mess with a person's self-esteem. A lot of times our self-esteem is just so high. I did a video a long time ago, where I was talking about people being so, caught up on themselves. Like they think that they're above human nature, or, like it's just, it takes them out so hard because, so it hits so hard because a lot of times it's our ego kicking in, like, not me, you know what I mean? And the ego won't allow you to experience that again. So yeah, that's that's a delicate conversation right there, but don't embarrass your woman, because you don't want to be embarrassed. And women, we need to stop our creeping too. It's not a dog eat dog, or it's not a tit for tat. As long as we keep it like that, we're gonna stay in this war, man against woman, man versus woman, woman versus man type situation. But I've given you guys, again, I've kind of put you up on like a little knowledge. And again, hey, I'm a G. I'm an OG, right? So if anybody knows, it's me. G-Ma, it ain't over, guys. That's all I got for you today. But my work is never done. I don't allow the sun to go down in my life because of situations like this, right? People need to know it. I don't know who might have needed to hear that today, but 3 things that are basic and free in a relationship, and 3 of the top things that women want in their lives are, first of all, commitment. If you say you're committed, let it be real. Be for real. Start the process of being a committed person prior to finding the woman that you want to commit to. Second of all, infidelity. Be faithful. Loyalty is like so high up there. We all want it. It's just a basic human need, right? And be kind. Number 3, be kind. Be kind to yourself, be kind to the world, and then you'll definitely. If you kindness is in your nature, if you've been thinking that, your rough edge or, your bad boy, whatever swag is what gets you the women, I don't know. It may work for you. Continue to do what you do out there, but there are consequences to all of our behavior, and the consequence of bad boy behavior has been that I don't want a bad boy. I don't want a bad boy. I want someone who's a nice, kind. Be kind to the world. Be kind to yourself. Commit and be faithful. Hasta la vista, babies. It's been real. I enjoyed sharing this knowledge with you. Yes, please like, subscribe, and share my videos. And as always, GMOS of the world, it ain't over.